It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the films of October 20th, 2000. We got 3 movies to look at today, so let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and jump right on into it. We'll start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, Harold Ramis' remake of the 1967 British comedy, Bedazzled. This is such a really good movie that I don't think got the proper respect it deserved, but it was worth it in the end. It's basically the same story as the original film, except some changes, notable changes. You have a socially awkward worker played by Brendan Fraser, who's given 7 wishes to get the girl of his dreams, played by Frances O'Connor, when he meets up with a very seductive Satan, played by Elizabeth Hurley, that catches his soul. Some of his wishes include being a 7-foot basketball star, a wealthy, powerful man, and a sensitive, caring guy, but as could be expected, the devil must put her own little twist on each of his fantasies. And in the original film, the devil was a guy, Peter Cook, and also it featured Dudley Moore, long before he found success later on in his career with later career with 10 and Arthur and the movies he was making in the early 80s. But like I said, this is a very, very good movie. I was really surprised at how much this movie held up, and really, a lot of it comes from Elizabeth Hurley. I mean, she did not get the proper respect, attention that she did after the Austin Powers movies. In fact, when this movie came out, there was a commercial strike back in 2000, and I guess she and Tiger Woods were the only two that were found guilty of working during the strike, and so they were penalized for that. She went to the premiere of this movie when that was happening. But you watch the movie, man. It's basically her movie. I mean, she really shows what true potential she has as a leading actress in a movie, and it's a shame that she didn't really do a whole lot more after this. I mean, in terms of a leading film, I think her next movie that she did after this was Serving Sarah with Matthew Perry, which wasn't that great overall, but she went back to kind of doing more like supporting roles and other things. But she has been a really good actress, and this is one of those movies that really shows her true potential because she perfectly nails this role to a T. And Brendan Fraser is also really good in the movie too. I like he's kind of the straight man in this situation here, and it allows for a lot of really good comedic timing overall. The jokes in here are very funny. It does take a modern edge. It does something radically different compared to the original film. It doesn't just do the same movie over and over again. And it has a great cast to work with. Fraser, Hurley O'Connor, Orlando Jones is in here, Toby Huss, Brian Doyle Murray. A lot of really good talent on board here. And it is a really fun movie. It's a really funny film that really does a lot that's unique on its own merits compared to the original film, like I said. And it certainly isn't up there with some of Harold Ramis' best works overall. I mean, I still think Groundhog Day is his magnum opus, as well as Caddyshack or National Lampoon's Vacation. He's made a lot of great stuff as a director, but this is one of his more underrated films. I really like this movie a whole lot. I like the performances. I like the comedy. I think it is very well done. I think it is very top-notch for the most part. I think they deliver on everything that they promised to handle here. It's a ton of fun, man. I was really surprised at how well this movie held up in the 20-plus years since then, but it's held up pretty well. I would highly recommend checking this one out. It's actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this one a lot. You really will like it mostly because of what Elizabeth Hurley brings to the table, but everything else about it is really damn good. I was really impressed with what I saw here, so not much more to say about that one. That's Bedazzled, so let's go ahead and move on to our next movie, and that is Pay It Forward. Mostly known for being Haley Joel Osment's big follow-up to The Sixth Sense. You have also Helen Hunt, who was just coming off an Academy Award-winning performance in As Good As It Gets, and Kevin Spacey, who had just won his second Oscar in 5 years. We've seen this story done before. It's basically a story set in Las Vegas, and it chronicles this 11 to 12-year-old kid who launches a goodwill movement known as Pay It Forward. Pay It Forward meaning, an expression for describing the beneficiary of a good deed, repaying the kindness to others rather than paying it back to the original benefactor. Some people also call it serial reciprocity. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Reciprocity. I gotta learn how to say some of these words before I go on here, man. Like, I've been doing that too much lately. I mean, yeah, but you get the idea here. Basically, like, you have Haley Joel Osment as the kid, Helen Hunt is alcoholic single mother, and Kevin Spacey is the physically and emotionally scarred social studies teacher, which, boy, that has changed in the last 20 years with Kevin Spacey, but But the film itself, it's pretty much a been there, done that story. We've seen this done over and over again. Despite having a good director in Mimi Leader, who just did Deep Impact, and Leslie Dixon, who has gone on to become a prolific writer in her own merits, but there are so many better things that this movie could have been, and it just kind of falls into predictable territory. I mean, it really falls into a lot of stories like this. We've seen them done over, like the inspiring teacher story and the inspiring story about the students and all that, and like trying to get this family together and all that type of stuff. Like it really does go into places that you've seen done over and over again. And it has the predictable ending that really gets stupider than the more you think about it, but it really is a huge misfire on so many different levels. Like, you do expect so much more with this, with the talent on board here, the director, the writer, the cast. I mean, I covered the three big ones, but you also have people like, Jay Moore is in here, James Caviezel, Angie Dickinson, John Bon Jovi. I mean, these are really, really good people that are involved in this film, and there's just nothing there. It's just a really bland story that we've seen done to death. Nothing new is different about this one. It really is a major letdown in so many different ways. It's a really, really poorly made film that has a really lackluster ending that just kind of makes you angry the more you think about it when it's all said and done. It's just like, you do expect so much more, but sadly you don't get it here, unfortunately. But yeah, that's Pay It Forward for you. So with that said, let's move on to our last movie here, and that is Jackie Chan in The Legend of Drunken Master. So there's a weird releasing pattern here, because this movie is actually the sequel of Drunken Master that came out in 1994, because the original Drunken Master came out in 1978. So the first movie in Japan, it came out in 1978. I don't think it hit movie theaters until 2001 or 2002, but this is supposed to be they marketed this as the first movie in the series, which it was literally the sequel. Like, it's literally the second film that came out in 1994. I guess the first of two movies that came out in 1994 with him in it. But this was another one of those movies where studios were just trying to bring out all the Jackie Chan movies because he was to the U.S. because he was such a hot commodity with Rush Hour and Shanghai Noon. And this film in particular, it's really, really... That's the fact that this is the sequel to something that's actually being described as the first movie. It's not a good sign going forward. You basically have a story here where, in turbulent China before World War I, the collapse of the Manchu dynasty fuels violent uprisings and political chaos, which ends up being the perfect setting for a grand-scale smuggling ring led by an unscrupulous British consul. While the ring plots to steal the crown jewels of China, only one man, the legendary Drunken Fist Master, played by Jackie Chan, possesses the courage and ferocity to stop the ruthless gang. And, as the movie itself goes, I think it does deliver what it's supposed to deliver, but at the same time, though, like, it's kind of hard for me to really, really get invested in this, even though it is a really good film. But the fact that this is a film that is supposed to be the sequel to a film that came out almost 20 years prior to it, and has not been released up to this point. If I had seen this around then, I don't think I would have appreciated this movie like everybody else did. I'm seeing a lot of good reviews here, maybe because but then again, they probably already saw the original film when it came out, but I don't know. Like, to me, like, if I had seen this, then this was my first introduction to the Drunken Master, instead of seeing the first Drunken Master film, I probably wouldn't say it's all that great, but it's still a good movie. I still really enjoy it. I still really enjoy a lot of the action sequences. Jackie Chan's doing what Jackie Chan does best. But I don't think I like it as much as everybody else does. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the fact that it is the fact that this is a sequel that's supposed to come almost 20 years after the original film, and yet here it comes here as the first film in the series. But again, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into this. Maybe I just need to watch it again. I just didn't get that same spark that I think a lot of other people did with it. I mean, it's not a bad movie by any means necessary. It's a good film. I just didn't see it as this great film, mostly because of the fact that it came first before all these other films before even the first one came out. And again, maybe that's just me. I haven't seen it in a while too. I should probably mention that, but I should probably watch it again at some point. In fact, I maybe should watch it again pretty soon. I mean, I feel like I need to see some of these movies again. But like I said, it's good. It's a good film. Maybe I didn't get that excitement that I think a lot of people did when it came out, mostly because of the fact that the first film was Drunken Master in '78. But again, I haven't seen it in a while, so I have to probably go watch it again. So that is The Legend of Drunken Master, or Drunken Master 2, whatever way you want to look at it. And so with that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. When we meet next time, we'll take a look at 3 more movies, including the infamous Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2, Jonathan Lipnicki coming off of the success of Stuart Little and Jerry Maguire in The Little Vampire, and John Travolta and Lisa Kudrow in the comedy Lucky Numbers. So we'll take a look at those 3 films on the next episode. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. And don't go too far away, because coming up after I post this episode on Time About the Movies Flashback, we're flashing back to the beginning of August 1988, August 5th to be exact, with 3 movies, including the remake of The Blob. We also have The Rescue and also Vibe. So 3 films to look at. We'll take a look at those on the next Time About the Movies Flashback, which should be coming up right after this.